Okay, so past wrestling guest of the show, Dave Webster, gave me the idea of switching the cameras around. So we said we'd give that a lash for this episode. And what's been rattling around the old dome this morning is the idea of creating your own future or your own reality, your own present. And what started this off was, so my business is a vertical farm. I grow microgreens in a controlled environment and I supply them to wholesale food service distributors. I had about 8 years, fucking flying along, have a couple of lads working with me full time, and we're going from strength to strength in the middle of a big expansion. All's good, Robert's your father's brother. However, although I've always wanted to set up my own business, ever since I was as long as I can remember, since I was a kid, I always had it in my head. I don't know why, don't know what put the idea in there, but I've always had it since a young age that I wanted to run my own show. I suppose I just have a somewhat pathological independent streak. So I wanted to be in control of my own destiny, to put a bit of a wanky term on it, and by running my own business. But I never set out originally to set up a fucking vertical farm or to sell microgreens or to do anything of the sort. I've had hundreds of different business ideas, some pretty decent, some fucking desperate, some that kind of ended up materializing in the real world without my involvement. So I think they're called 3V cards. They're now somewhat defunct, I think. I don't know if they exist, but the idea was that you could, the idea at the time at least was go into a shop and do this. The modern version of this would be you go online. Back then there was no online, so you went into a shop and you gave them 10 euro, 20 euro, 50 euro, 100 euro, whatever amount of money that it was. And in return, they would give you what was essentially a disposable credit card number. So if you wanted to buy something that was, I don't know, 200 euro, and you wanted to post that amount to somebody, let's say you were buying something from a different country or whatever it was out of a catalogue, whenever you needed a credit card, but you were, 15, so you didn't fucking have one, you could go into the shop, give them money, they would give you essentially a disposable credit card number. You would use that number over the phone, say, and or you could pop it in an envelope and fucking post it off, and that would be essentially a way of you buying stuff from a catalogue or from a place far away. It'd be a way of transferring money. Now, I got the idea from phone credit. When we started going into the shop, you gave them money and they gave you a number which you typed into your phone, and that ended up as being an amount of phone credit that you have. Now, that has since been invented. That's since a thing. Now, it had absolutely no involvement to do with me, but it was lovely for me to see that I could come up with an idea and that idea had legs and actually worked in the real world. Now, there's a big, giant, massive difference between coming up with an idea and implementing an idea. So I reckon coming up with a good idea is, I don't know, probably well less than 5% of what you do. It's probably closer to less than 1% of what needs to be done to make it a business. So plenty of people have had the idea of building a vertical farm and selling microgreens, for example, but fuck all people have done it, especially not to the scale that I've managed to do it and envisage where it will go. And that's what I want to talk about, this idea of envisaging things and creating your own reality. So I'll give you another example. I've set up this YouTube channel. I currently have 230 something subscribers, which is effectively zero in the grand scheme of things. To put it into perspective, in order for me to monetize this YouTube channel, I need a minimum of 1,000. So I have to multiply my amount of subscribers by a factor of 4 before YouTube will give me 1 cent a month, never mind anything more. So if you're enjoying my content, please subscribe. Or even better again, if you've enjoyed a particular episode, send it to a fucking mate of yours. Spread the word and all that jazz. But in relation to kind of creating your own reality and envisaging things, you'll often hear sports stars, and not even just sports stars, stars generally, people who've done exceptionally well, whether it be in business or finance or sport or music or fucking, it doesn't matter. If you've excelled, and you ask anybody who's really excelled at something, it could be being a pianist, being a fucking teacher, online educator, public speaker, doesn't matter. You ask any of them, did they ever envisage themselves becoming who they are now? Now, some will say no, but a lot of them will say they will, and in my experience at least, for whatever that's worth, The people who become the biggest stars always had a belief that they could do it and a vision. They could see it. So I'll give you an example. In my mind's eye, I can see myself on stage doing a kind of a Jordan Peterson-esque talk to a crowd. Now, depending on the day of the week and the time of the day, that crowd might be 5 people in my spare bedroom, or it could be fucking 50,000 people in a big giant arena. And does that mean it's going to materialize? Does it? Fuck. I'm a fucking ways away from that ever happening. But I tell you one thing, it won't fucking happen if you can't imagine it happening. I can also see myself performing on stage from being the lead singer in a band, or being a rapper, or fucking maybe even just being a support act. And again, maybe in my fucking local pub on a Saturday night, or maybe to fucking 50,000 people in a fucking stadium. I can see it. And if you can't see it in your mind's eye, if you can't imagine it, then the odds of you actually bringing that into being, or bringing into an existence, is practically fucking zero. And again, you don't have to have big lofty fucking ambitions of performing in front of tens of thousands of people. It might be just getting a better job than you have, getting a fucking hot wife, or having a nice home, or driving a car that the lights aren't all fucking flashing in your dash all the fucking time. This motor's been recently serviced, so I'm glad to say there's no fucking lights saying, fucking low this or high that, or too much pressure there. And I haven't really suffered with that in a good while, because I'm at a stage in my life whereby I'm kind of financially independent, and if a light comes up in my fucking dash, I can bring it to the garage and I can get it fucking sorted. For many's a year, I couldn't do that. A light came up in the dash, and all that meant was I'd be fucking racked with anxiety for God knows fucking how long, until the car either broke down, or I finally got fucking paid at the end of the month and I could drag it into the fucking garage for him to have a look at it. And if you're at that stage, if you don't have a pot to piss in, it's fucking tough. I fucking know how tough it is, because I've been there. But the beauty of having a vision and having ambition and creating a new reality for yourself is that you get to look back on those times and give yourself a little wry smile and kind of go, I fucking did it. I fucking did it. And I did it with fuck all help from fucking anybody. Like, not no help. I've had a bit of help. Herself has been there. She took the reins in relation to minding the kids when I started the business. You're working a fucking 80, 90 hour week. You're literally working through the night and through the next day to get orders out, and in my case, to get lights wired so I could fulfill orders and all the rest of it. Like, you can't do that and do all the shit at home as well. So you need a bit of a dig out in that sense. So it'd be foolish of me or anybody to say that they are 100% self-made. Odds are, somebody gave you a bit of a dig out along the way. But what makes up 99.9% of why I was successful and why most people are successful is fucking graft. Just endless graft. And if you're not a grafter, grafting, I think, is a skill. It's a learned skill. You learn it like you learn anything. You learn it by fucking doing it. The more you do it, the better you'll become. And the more that you can envisage yourself writing a book, or performing on stage, or doing whatever it is that you would like to do, the better you can get at envisaging that. And the more you can practice working your fucking arse off and making your dreams a fucking reality. The more you practice that, the greater the likelihood there is of you achieving it. And on that note, I'll chat to you soon.